Hello, and welcome back to Badge Hunter. Today, after the intermission, I'm going to be hunting for a badge. A badge that might either be extremely helpful, or a badge that won't matter for next chapter. So to say, next chapter is chapter 3, of course, and badges cannot be dropped by any enemies in it due to how the chapter goes. Sure, they can still hold items and badges, but it can't be dropped. So if I had Miss Mouse, I would be able to steal them. But since I won't be able to have Miss Mouse at this point, I will still have to rely on Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 and enemies for badges. I could include doing the pit up to about the 430s because those have some Chapter 3 enemies in there. But I'm not going to do that. I'm still going to steer clear from the pit for the time being. Even though, well, I could do it. So I was just going to wait till when I get to it, but so the two badges one of the two badges I might be hunting is either the very helpful Quake Hammer or the very helpful but might not be of use yet is another Item Hog. Quake Hammer because of all the spiny enemies, and it's just a great defense piercer for everything on the floor. And Item Hog for just the better overall drop chances. I mean, it's like, I think I know which one I want to go for. And it's clearly... And if I'm going to be doing this to maximize my suffering, I clearly cannot go for a Quake Hammer. Even though Quake Hammer is helpful, for suffering purposes, if I go for Item Hog, it does not help in Chapter 3. So clearly I have to go for it. And next, when I know I'm going to plan for getting multiple copies of Item Hog. I'm stopping at 3. But I might increase it to 5 at the pit. Because of how the drops work. It's like at 3 item hogs, hold percent and drop percent go to 40 for normal battles. And it's like Item Hog needs to be like around 5-ish for it to be at those 40% in the pit. So, but I am going to let myself, clearly, if I want the best drop chances, I would just have a lot of them equipped. Man. So, how I will do this is that I can only I'm only going to allow myself to have a certain amount equipped every so amount after a certain amount of time, essentially. I'm allowing myself to have one always equipped, but should I be hunting a badge, I'm not going to have all of them equipped right away, because clearly I want to take some time hunting these things. So I don't know how long it would be. It's like maybe 4 hours, and then I'll cook the second one. I don't know. That's something I haven't put thought into yet because I've only had one so far. I mean, clearly if I wanted the most suffering, I would just take off my Item Hog and just be not allowed to use it, but I'm not going to do that. I want to complete this in a somewhat reasonable amount of time. But even more reasonable when it gets to the later floors in the pit, those badges. For those, I think I definitely want my 5 item hog limit at that point, because of how far down it is and how potentially rare the badges are. So, hello to what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of hours. I didn't want to come back here so soon, but this is what I've decided to go for Item Hog. So, as it's known that these guys can also drop HP plus, that's something I'm not really too worried about, really. Already got it, so who cares? So how I'm going to be doing this is killing just these 2 groups of 3 and 4 and resetting afterwards. Even though there's another one in a room to the right of the save, that's just too much out of the way for doing this. I didn't really want to do this hunt right away, or again so soon, as this file I stopped essentially at trying to get another item hog. I mean, I think that one had worse luck than this current file. Because I think I got through... Well, I know in chapter 3, I think if I'm recalling correctly, that... Just gonna let these things despawn because I'm trying to remember. In chapter 3, I remember seeing that the Hammer Bro had Mega Rush. Was holding Mega Rush, and I wasn't able to take it at that time. Which was big sad. And then in all of chapter 4, I think I might have just got only charge. So I mean, I can open it. I think it's like, I think when I was hunting here, I kind of started, well, one, I had different rules, and I kind of just started to ignore not, it's like I started to ignore not using any like easily gotten badges, like stuff from the pit or whatnot, or just I started just like buying badges that I'm not allowed to have. Like, I know when I was doing it, I had quick change and fire drive, because I was like, you know, the unique badges I would be able to just use at that time. But ooh, point swap. That now I have the dilemma. I want the point swap. Okay, I will save it. But so in my file 4, as I was saying, I was using badges that I'm not allowed to use right now. It's like the rules on there was different. It's like I said, for the most part, I was only able to use badges. Okay, actually no. If it was a unique badge that I couldn't get from a drop, I was allowed to get. So that's the reason why I had quick change. But for the fire drive, I also just decided to count any pit reward I was able to use as well. I'm not doing that this time around, thankfully, because that really does defeat the purpose of this hunt. But I guess when I don't save. maybe when I reset the next time, I can show you what I had on there. It doesn't matter what it has, but it gives you... It will give you a good idea of what I got that dropped. Or even that I stole. But I don't think I stole that much. I definitely wasn't doing what this file's rules were. I didn't force myself to hunt 2 specific badges or allow myself to choose one badge during the intermission. I think for the most part I was just kind of playing the game. Which is alright, but well, that and well, I was just playing the game and I didn't know of... I thought that the soft resetting wasn't a valid or a great way to do these hunts. And so that file just kind of got quite up there in levels for a chapter 4. Or I think I just completed chapter 4 in that one. So I guess I would do a brief intermission to see my chapter 4 file 4. Just to see the badges on there, because I don't truly remember. Yep, saved in the same place. 25. I went to the pit a few times. I got about it a few times. Okay. So let's see. Those whatever I needed. Alright. Starting from this. This was from Frankly. This was a drop. That was from the shop. That was a drop. I think I bought this. No, it was a drop. That one was a drop. But got boss drop, which I am counting for my file 2 that I can use. Bought that one, bought this one, bought that one. This was a drop, this was a drop. I think this was a drop, and this was a drop. So unequipping everything that well, I guess I'll unequip Item Hog as well. In this file, this is all I got for badge drops. No attacking badge. Only man. I didn't really realize that I didn't get that many badges, really. Anyways, that's kind of the reason why I like doing this. it one allows me to get fun badges, and I think for the most part I enjoyed doing this more than that run. I think in that run I was also not allowing myself to buy from shops or use the crystal stars so much. But I don't remember. I don't have the rules for it anymore. Actually, I might still have the rules for it. Let's see if I can find those rules. Okay, so I guess I did keep it. So these are rules from when I tried to do it last year. Not for this hunt going on. This just needs to be stated because I'm not changing the rules like this. So it has the same overall rule where I was limiting the playthrough to only using dropped or stolen badges. However, I gave myself some exceptions, like Item Hog. I let myself get Peekaboo, even though if you're going to be tattling every enemy, I don't know why I was allowing myself to use Peekaboo. And I also allowed myself to use any 0 BP badges, which I'm surprised I even thought of that back then. I still allowed myself to use Lucky Star and return postage. But here's a difference. Back then, I had a limit to being able to increase my HP and FP. I don't know why I thought about doing this. Because, you know, some playthroughs, they don't even upgrade any of those. They just use it, HP and FP plus. But because I had those at a limit, a optional rule that I decided to add that really did not matter in the long run was if I wanted to use quick change, I would have to quote-unquote sacrifice an HP level, FP level, or actually no, either 2 of HP, 2 of FP, or 1 of each. I don't know why I had that. That's a really strange rule for me to have. I allowed myself to use first stack for some reason. It says to get rid of unwanted enemies, which is a little bit understandable, but you can't really use first attack, first strike, or whatever it is, for badge hunting, because the enemies wouldn't drop the badges from you just killing them on the overworld. But then again, first attack is a 0 BP badge, so it's fair. I'm also allowed to use it, but I'm not. From also in the rules, I allowed myself to use badges that could make the hunt easier, like spike shields, ice power, depending on the enemy, but I couldn't continue the chapter or use them, or couldn't continue the chapter with them, which is fair, but that also kind of ruins the purpose of the hunt, really. Then let's see, I had something about items where I was only either allowed drops or the quote-unquote latest shop that I've gone to. I mean, that's an interesting idea, but really, you could beat this whole game without using any shop items, except for the key item ones. Those are ignored with shopping in this game. But then I had, in the bonus rule, any items that were bought had to be used in that chapter and could not be taken to the next. Whereas item drops from enemies could be used in any chapter, which is a decent idea. If I were having difficulty in one chapter, I could buy something from a shop to make it easier, and just have to make sure I use it, or I just get rid of it at the end. Then I had some limiting some rules about my limited usage of the crystal stars. It's like, depending on the chapter where I am in the game story, I would be able to use the power of the crystal stars differently, essentially. Like, for example, I allowed myself to always be able to use Sweet Treat, but stuff like Power Lift, I was never going to allow myself to use. Or some, like, Sweet Feast, where originally when I get it, I was never going to allow myself to use it, but when or if I got to post game and or fighting Shadow Queen, I was allowed to use it once per fight. But I pretty much limited it, or I attempted to limit the very strong ones, and the rest were generally just a once per fight after a certain chapter. Now, what I thought was interesting is that so I wasn't doing any partner limitations when I was doing this. Guard the 504. I wasn't limiting any partner usage, anything of the sort. But the most interesting thing on here is I wasn't allowing myself to use tattle. I guess that's the reason why I was using Peekaboo, but I don't know why I limited myself from using tattle. It's like, it's a turn waster, but it makes it so the HP is always visible without wasting 2 BP. I don't know. I allowed myself to cook food from dropped items but not bought. And let's see. And my only goal in it was to beat the game and beat the super bosses. So there are some rules that I did take from that, and it's like, yeah, I can use this. And some of the rules that I decided to use but change, like, you know, allowed myself to tattle enemies because I am not going to go and buy Peekaboo. But it's like this file is definitely better than file 4. It's so much better. Actually have some attack items. Actually willing to hunt other badges other than stuff that make it easier. I figured that I probably, since I said I was going to do this, get the sound effect badges. I figure I will go and get it now. If you are wondering why I'm keeping the point swaps, it's because while so when I get the cookbook and can have 2 items be mixed, the point swaps allow you to change the items that you mix it with. For example, if you do it with a mushroom and a point swap, it would change into a honey syrup. So really, it just gives me a option of, if I get a later item, a later kind of good item, like let's say a jam and jelly. If for some reason I want to make a ultra shroom, I can use it to and swap it essentially. There's no guarantee that I'm going to, but still just a future possibility that if I need to. Also works with other items like Power Punch to Mr. Mini and vice versa. You can get a build. You can use it on the build sheet to get something I don't remember. But there, though any of the swaps using point swap does not count for the recipe list. So it's just something in case I really truly need a certain item at a certain time. Because given once I get Item Hog is going to go, these point swaps are going to go into the storage. Let me tell you, I was really worrying that the Paragoomers was going to drop their badge. Either being, what, Sleepy Stomp or Multi-Bounce. I did not want that to happen. Because at the end of this intermission, I'm still going to be rolling that wheel to see what next 2 badges I had to get. And let me tell you, if it's Sleepy Stomp or Multi-Bounce, I'll be very sad. Also, I'm thinking about this, well, I'm letting myself get a second item hug now. The next time, because I know I'm going to be wanting to get a third. The next time will most likely be at the Palace of Shadows. Because I can get Item Hog from the regular dry bones as well. And to not overfarm a single enemy, I would probably wait till then. Even though I think I could attempt to get, what am I doing? I could attempt to get Item Hog from the Dark Patrol, but that requires me to go into the pit. And that's still just a not yet. I think I would. I don't know. That's something for me to figure out if I want to hunt from later on. Since I'm gonna check something. Wow, the dry bones have that same, well, not the exact same drop table, but same badge drop table. Same percents. But since I now am just checking. Let me check the Dark Patrol. Okay, so all three of them, the Dull Bones, Dry Bones, and Dark Patrol, all just have a 0.3% chance of a base chance of dropping Item Hog. So it doesn't really. Well, it does kind of really matter, but after I get this Item Hog from the Dull Bones, I'm not allowing myself to hunt from them again. Because I do know, it's like, later on, when I'm hunting for specific badges, I might do it from a certain enemy. This is also only like during post game, by the way. It's like, let's say I'm going for Mega Rush, alright? So that can come from either Hammer Bro or Dark Paratrooper. I think I'm gonna. So Mega Rush can be held by Hammer Bro. Should be able to be held. Yeah. So that badge, it's like Dark Paratrooper is in the pit. Not that I really care to do the pit. I would say this as much as need to. But based on how it is, I can either get Mega Rush from stealing it when it's held, or when it's possible to fight them in the underground. I had like around chapter 5, I think, or 6. So just at a certain point, it changes. The hunt changes from just hunting whatever enemy it has that can have it, to rather specific hunts, because I think it'd be just a little bit more interesting. Because, you know, some of the higher tier badges, like a lucky day, really only comes from one enemy. But when you have a certain badge that multiple have, while it does give me like different areas to hunt from them, and people probably want to see the either most annoying or something of the sort. I mean, that's how I would prefer it, the most annoying. It's like I've been thinking of not allowing myself to steal badges. Like, if it's a badge that I could just steal and be done with the hunt, it certainly is faster, but kind of just not fun. So, I guess I'll make another soft rule for just myself. As Mr. Badge Hunter, or Mr. Current Badge Hunter, if it's a mandatory hunt badge, I am not gonna allow myself to steal from the enemy that can or is holding it. It has to drop. But if it's not a mandatory badge for me to get at that point, and if that enemy is holding said a badge, I'm allowed to steal it. Might as well just increase my suffering, because that is my specialty. It has happened. 5 hours in, and then I get the wrong badge. Well, I hate this grind. This didn't happen in my 504 run attempt. I didn't get any HP plus. What? I might have got an HP plus. See, look, I just don't commit those in memory. Oh well, if I had gotten an HP plus, then I don't care for it anymore. It was not Item Hog though. And they had the same % chance of dropping. So getting this would really just hurt right then and there. Really, I'm just sitting here, it's like, why couldn't I just got Item Hog right then and there. Been nice, just a simple 5 hours. Let me tell you, since when I do chapter 3 hunts, it's going to be before the chapter. So, realistically, I could say this is my, what are the 2 badges I'm hunting for chapter 3. But see, that would make a little sense. And I'm sitting here and just dreading it because right now my badges that I can get, there's like 1 that might be a wearable that's not an attacking badge. I think I can get, well, I can get FE plus. And I think I can get partner power rush. I can also get both versions of Happy Hearts and Happy Flower. Happy Hearts can be held during battle, but Happy Flowers cannot. So if I get lucky and get one of those, I would be happy. But this time around, I think there's a high chance for me to get 2 attacking badges. And that means that probably means that this next upcoming hunt is going to be, or can potentially reach 24 hours for 2 of them. Or even longer. I don't want it to be every longer. I really don't. And also a nice dreaded realization that I was having when I get a 2nd and eventually a 3rd item hog. There is a good chance that all the enemies I'm fighting are just going to have an item with them. With one, sometimes, and most of the fights I ever do, the enemy's holding an item. Sometimes they hold 2 just like there. But when it gets to like roughly 40% chance of enemies just holding stuff, high chance all of them are just going to be holding an item that I'm just going to deal with. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to kill every single enemy I see in one turn later on. And you can't evade item effects in this game, unlike what you could have in the 64 version of Paper Mario. Yes, it's like it's like the hunt was fine, whatever. 5 hours of not getting anything, that's fine. Then I got HP plus, and now I'm just like, why? Why am I doing this hunt again? If I was fighting the cliffs, that would have been it. They only could drop Quake Hammer. Or if I was fighting anything else, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. If I actually went to the Koopa Troopas and or Paratroopers, I could have got those Happy Heart or Happy Flower. And if I was selling those, they're good sustain, but definitely not for the... I don't want that. But definitely not for the... I was going to say close call stuff, but really, I've gotten 2 HP pluses, haven't upgraded HP at all. I think being in danger or even peril is really just chapter 1. I mean, surely if I ever get to a certain point where I need to rely upon danger stress, I could probably do it, but you can always see that, also figure that may or may not be the reason why I'm keeping the point swaps. Use FP, go into danger mode HP. Fair enough with me. There it is. It is real. 7 hours. I didn't show. You might see that my HP is 5. It's not 20 anymore. It's because I got sad and got another HP plus. Now, I really don't need to upgrade my HP anymore. But now we have 2 Item Hogs. That makes my day happy. That makes my day. What? That's 7 hours with 1 Item Hog drop and 2 HP pluses. Yeah. Alright. These dull bones are useless to me now. Okay. So, I think I mentioned it before, where I'm going to, when I do these hunts, after a certain amount of time, I will be allowing myself to equip more. I will have 1 on at the start, and maybe 3 to 4 hours. If I don't get what I'm wanting to drop, I'll equip the second one. That's only when I'm hunting for badges. Otherwise, I'm just allowed to have whatever I want on, really. But that really means I'm just going to have 2 on for the entire day. Unless I really need something else on. Very helpful vehicle driving by. Whatever. So, since this was technically going to be an intermission video, let's do the requests that I may or may not be able to do. And continue from there. Okay, so after checking, I can do listen to me because I should have max inventory, item inventory. I still can't do this, and I will never be able to do this one because the reward is an ultra shroom, which will be given to you no matter what, because you have to trade five items for a single. I can't do the life mushroom one yet because I haven't been able to fight an enemy that can drop a life shroom or I can steal a life shroom from. I can do this one. It's just a simple walk over to it. Any of the Pianta tokens, that's fine. They really contribute nothing. I'm not going to be buying anything with it, and I would take it as just another quote-unquote currency. And finding the dad is just going through the pit, which I can do, and it gives me a key item. So start from the top down. I should have, yeah. So it should. After this, he should just put the Koopa leaf on the table in the back. Supposedly. If he doesn't, then well, I guess the challenge is null and void, and I would just have to reset from a previous save. Kids touchy. Got to set out the tea. Haven't even added the hot water. Yep, there we go. Yeah, I could just leave it there. You would just have a tea leaf just sitting there the whole time. Something you might not see me talking or going to is the warp pipe down there. I love the increase, alright about that, the change of the fast travel. When it's like in the GameCube version, you were only able to fast travel to like 4 places when you have the Super and Ultra Hammer. But just giving you fast travel pretty much right when you have Flurry, and you get each of the main places as just getting it and just be able to fast travel to like any of the big places or towns whenever it is really great. Because you know it prevents me from having to walk by those dreaded Goombas every time. I think I'm going to have a vendetta to those Goombas for life. It's like I really do think that in any way, shape, or form for me to be just like, okay, I can take the fast travel just to get over to Cuba Village, so I don't have to see those Goombas. Because, you know, I fought them too many times. And even though I said I wasn't going to be doing the pit, since it is related to the request, I will be doing it. I will be doing it with both Item Hogs on. Because, you know, might as well see what happens. Might as well see if every enemy I'm fighting just has an item holding. Or if I get a badge drop. I mean, if I get any badges dropped from them, I'm still gonna have those on the wheel. Any non-wheeled badges or any too many badges already. I can spin. So, this quest requires you to go 18th floor, I think. I think 18th floor. Maybe 15th. I don't remember. I just know it's definitely after the first 9. You have something to say about him? Hey, guy. Oh, yeah. It shouldn't be that difficult. Oh, of course it won't be that difficult. If I had difficulty with the first... If I had difficulty with the first couple of floors, then it would have been bad. Anyways, unless a badge drops, I'll probably just see you until when I get to his dad. Never mind. A badge drop. This is going to be a pain. I hope to God that a badge doesn't drop every floor. Because if it does, then I'm going to be like, well, 2 Item Hogs is just too powerful. I can't do that. I can't just have something that just makes the hunt easier overall. Well, I could, but that doesn't really make this fun. I want the hunt to be a long, but not super long and unbearable. But I also don't want it to be super short. But seeing as they're not all holding something, it might be alright. But now it's like in here at the sea and it's like, will I take that? I already have a good amount of mushrooms. I can make mushroom fries, which would be kind of nice to do. Yes, since I now have access to cooking, I can now be like, hey, that might be an alright idea to do. Take an item, cook it, and then just be on my merry way. Also, let me tell you, if I see a item hog drop from any of the domos here, I will be pissed. Just have to hope it doesn't happen. Or rather, any badge that I already have. If I see any of those drop, I'm just going to be not very happy, I think. Some badges more especially, but definitely like if item hog drops or an HP plus drops or another close call. But I think I would be fine with seeing head rattle drop. Because I don't think you get a damage increase. I think you just get a increased chance of confusing an enemy. Which I would be fine with. You know, I need to confuse Grippa or whoever it is. I also need to confuse Rawhawk in Chapter 3, so. Get into floor 20. The only relevant badge I ever got was that Pretty Lucky. There was one other case of, I think it might have been, because you know my brain is peanut brain, which also had a Pretty Lucky, and I did miss hitting him, but only one badge drop, which is fine enough for me to get. Alright, I didn't actually. I was like, why is my HP only 20? I thought I had 2. 3. Yeah. Alright. So that's all for the requests. I'm not going to worry about Cookie for now. I'm just going to do this while I'm here as well. Get this out of the way and then we'll roll for badges for next chapter. I'm not looking for the next chapter either. But since the wheeled badges are getting smaller and I'm still can only pull from chapter 1 and 2, I'm not including the pit yet still. That means higher chance for me. Well, I'm taking off Item Hog. I'm only gonna allow myself to hunt again for the last Item Hog I want when we get to chapter 8 or past the door. So a higher chance for me to get Quake Hammer But also a higher chance for me to have to hunt the Goombas again. Well, maybe not. Maybe it was... I probably have to hunt the Goombas again if it's what Shrink Stomp, I think. Sleepy Stomp, I'll have other options. I'm not ready for this. Hopefully, it's like I'm sitting here. It's like hopefully I could just get an easy one and a hard one. But the last easy badge I can get right now is, oh, the last two is Happy Heart and Happy Heart Partner. Those are the last two that I can get easily. Because Happy Heart Flower, enemies can't hold that because enemies don't have FP. Which is also the same for FP+. Since enemies don't have FP, they can't hold that. Because it does nothing for them. I'm not prepared for this. I know I need to do the wheel, but I'm not prepared for the wheel. I don't want it to be too long badges. Don Pianta is recluse. Don't worry, I know where he is. But that's for a different time, not for today. Let me get this save. And then... Okay. So... hopefully it is recording now, because it is, and then I'm done for. Well, I could just check this. It is red. Okay. So... I don't know how much is actually taken up on my screen. Oh well. So here are the badges that I can currently go for that aren't repeat rolls or aren't stuff I've hunted for individually. Like, Item Hogs just now. So, the danger rushes are easy ones. Pretty Lucky is the easy one, and HP or Happy Heart are easy ones. And the rest are hard ones. I shouldn't have to say what easy and hard ones means, but I'm going to anyways just in case. Easy ones are badges that can be held, but and dropped, random dropped, so higher chance overall. Hard ones are only random drops. So let's spin it twice. Okay. Power Rush Partner, which is great. This one is a badge I haven't gotten yet, and it, I think, is an easy badge for me to get. And then the second one, if it lands on that again, I would just roll again, by the way. And that's Shrink Stomp, I think? It is Shrink Stomp. I had to go make sure. It's like, the Shrink and Soft. Soft is red, Shrink is pink. So, going over and check these. So, oh, I can't actually do Shrink Stomp. Never mind. I guess I should have just took that off because X-Knots aren't in the tree anymore. Well. Okay, I guess I have to spin it a third time because no more string stops. Am I? Oh, nope. I'm fine with this. Happy flower. I need FP regeneration. I'm happy with that. Okay, so I had to go back to Hooktail's castle for happy flowers, and while I'm there, I can also get Power Rush P, which is fine enough with me, honestly. Alright, those are the only ones I can really get from those. Yeah. And at the same time, I can get the chance for Happy Ords, which I will take. I much rather go for sustain badges rather than do danger strats. So I'm happy with that outcome. So before just being done, must have badge. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna be done with this, whatever, and then it's like, ah, so I must have like first attack. Yeah. No. It's like I was originally gonna have the 0 BP badges, but I probably just want to sell off all of them except for the GameCube sounds, because it's like, really, I'm not going to really ever have the 0 BP stuff on. Maybe eventually when I decide to be, when I'm bored, I might go and get or rebuy double pain, because yes, I do have double pain, but I just never equip it if I'm really bored or whatnot. Oh no, don't sell that. Jeez. Okay, so this is so bad. What? So far, how many? Did I have 10 close calls at the start? Yeah. So still, so far, close call is my most held total badge, but it's going to probably be like that for the long shot. But thank goodness I probably will have to sell more of those, really. If anything, my luck is like, hey, why don't you just have more HP plus? Or hey, why don't you have more of these other badges? Alright. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of the day. I'm going to suffer next time around. Because it's going to be a hunt before the chapter. Again, because I cannot get any badges from chapter 3. Maybe I hunt one at the start and right before the boss. I have no idea. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of the day. See you next time with my suffering.